Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creative Amplifiers show on a Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Hello, Mark. Hello, Lisa. How are you both? Let's start with Lisa. How's it going?
I'm good. Lovely weather right now in LA.
Wonderful.
That's the good part.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. That's
here
the good part.
in the UK, not so much.
Oh, really? Okay. Do we dare talk about the weather? Why not? It's a family pastime.
We had our little summer, and now we're back to
really?
UK grey and slightly drizzly. But it's good. Garden's enjoying it. That's the most important thing.
Right. So how's everything going there, Mark? You have some interesting, fun stuff going on in your life this week?
Yeah. Exciting week this week. Today was the last day of my school experience as a parent. It's 19 years. Today was my daughter's last exam. So third child through the education system in terms of schooling. So yeah, excited for her. She was literally saying at dinner, so I've got nothing to do afterwards. No revision, nothing to think about, nothing to get ready for tomorrow. It's just like, wow. Oh, okay, this is it. So so very excited for her and for us, all that school admin and emails and various things to keep on top of. We're going to have so much more space to be able to do so much more of this, which is very exciting.
That's cool. And she's got a break now until university, which is in a few months, right?
Yes, into September. So exams results come out in August, and then there's the kind of getting all the finalised places in order, and then September's when the autumn term kicks off for uni. So it'll be exciting.
Wonderful. And everything good with you, Lisa? Weather is fine, as you said. Nothing.
Yeah, everything's good. I'm just thinking, Mark, when my daughter went off to school, I found myself wandering my house because there wasn't anything to do. It meant I could eat popcorn for dinner. It was great. It was wonderful.
Exactly. And one of the things we were saying is the fact that even though she's been driving for a few months as well now, so we've had even more free time, but just the day constraint of kind of drop off, pick up, what you're having for dinner, you're going to be in for dinner. It's just like, what do I want to do? It's like, well, it's quite exciting for now. Whether I get bored in the next few weeks and months, we'll see. But
just text me if you're wandering around
aimlessly.
What do I do?
What do I do?
More videos, social posting, gardening, whatever you can do. There you go.
Okay,
the list is endless. The thing is, you'll end up filling your time so quickly with something, you'll be like, oh, where did all this time go?
It's true.
Enjoy the free time whilst you can, I think is the advice.
Yeah,
I think that even from the baby
She'll be back.
I'm certain.
Oh, dear. Well, today here in Portugal, it's very, very sunny indeed. It's been crazy temperatures. It's like 98 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that, 35 or something Celsius here? Terrible thunderstorms coming tomorrow. So I'm glad we're doing the show today, because if we're doing it this time tomorrow, potentially we'd have a few lightning strikes and the electricity would go out, which is typical for here, but there you go. Well, anyway, enough about the weather, because that's a favourite pastime of all British people. Today, we thought we would talk to you about AI. Now, AI has not been mentioned much recently in the last 6 months, so we thought we'd start the ball rolling. Just kidding. Every time you turn on YouTube, every forum, blog, anything that you can think of, it's all AI. And now, because I've been doing some research on AI automation, which we'll speak about later, my YouTube feed is full of how to use AI more effectively in your day-to-day workflows. So we're going to be covering some of the tools that we like to use on a day-to-day basis. By all means, this is not an exhaustive list. We do use other tools as well throughout our content creation workflows, both for this show and for our own stuff. And there's a lot to cover. So let me just quickly take a look at the chat. We are good to go at the moment. So Lisa, do you want to kick us off with some of your stuff? Now in Lisa's list, we've got all these wonderful things, but you're going to touch on, I think, mainly Cast Magic. But over to you.
I'm going to touch on, I'll touch on why I choose these and how they all kind of integrate together depending on what you're doing. First of all of this AI stuff to me is a jumping off point. It's your assistant. I don't feel like, there are times it's written well and you can just take it and push it over to wherever you need it.
You can shove it. You can shove it. I'll push it. It doesn't matter. Shove it. Just shove it.
Yeah. But I like to use it as a jumping off point, and I tell people I work with to do the same thing so that you can put in your personality, put in your thoughts, and so it sounds human, because the human touch is still very important. So I chose 4 things because I use some of the other ones. I use some of the other ones the guys are going to be talking about, but I chose Cast Magic, Opus Clip, Tella, and Notion AI, which the guys know I love and adore. Each one, I do. Each one does something a little bit different, and it depends on what your use case is, why you would need to use these or not use them, or put it together as a group of tools that you want to choose to use. So really briefly, Cast Magic is an AI platform. What I love about it is that it allows you to upload your audio or video, and it then takes it, does the transcript, and then I'm going to slow down here. Then it allows you to build out social media posts, blog posts, keywords, things for SEO. It kind of is, I'm going to say, the poo-poo platter of everything. It'll give you all the things you might need to redo and re-put out your content, repurpose it. And with the AI functions that it has, it also allows you to have an interactive talk with it, like you can with chat or with Claude or some of the other ones, and feed it even more information so that it can really pinpoint what it is you're trying to put out there, what content you're trying to create. They just came out with something new called the content pipeline. So if you happen to be working with, say, a virtual assistant, or if you're a person who has, maybe you have built out a business and have other clients like I do, you can have a pipeline where you input whatever it is you're trying to repurpose, and then now it shows up where it can be interactive and other people can work on it. It gives me the vibes. If you know ClickUp, it has a little bit of that, of how it kind of parses out the information and who's responsible for it and the due dates and all that. It does kind of look like that to me, but it's very helpful that anybody can, post something and then other people can come and collaborate on it. So maybe it's a client you have, maybe it's, like I said, you have a virtual assistant, maybe you have a very small team, depending on what you're doing. So I love that it, you can get your transcriptions, the AI generates the content, you can create custom prompts, which is great. Like I said, it's a little bit of everything that you would be doing with chat or maybe with Descript, an Underlord or whatever. You can customize everything and really get what you want and what you need, and then take that and, like I said, infuse the human touch into it. So that's what I have to say about Cast Magic. That's just a very brief overview, but I use it a lot for myself. I use it for this show. I use it for clients, and cost-wise, I think it starts at $19 and it goes up. And all of these tools, although they all have free things or temporary free trials, you don't get into the meat of them until you unfortunately pay for it. Would you guys agree with me with that?
No, definitely. Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, so that's the top one that I really wanted to talk about, and I'll come back to it, but I want to scoot over to the other 3 that I have up there.
Okay.
And so Opus Pro has been around for a bit. And what's beautiful about this, it allows you to take a long form piece of content and get those clips you want. AI driven. It also has a virality scale, which is interesting because it tries to predict how well is this short clip we've created going to do. And it's based on, various things of, I guess, the length or what the actual topic is, or even down to, I'd say, how the person's interacting to the camera, from what I understand from reading through with it. So if you are in a hurry, you need to do clips for various things like Substack or for Reels or for Instagram Reels or for Shorts for YouTube, this will allow you to get those shorts really quickly without going through, a timeline and trying to figure it out, or looking at the transcript and figuring out where the good sound bites are. Once again, a lot of these things overlap, and the guys are going to talk about other products to use. Descript does a similar thing. There's a lot of other things that do similar things, but again, finding the tool that's going to work for you, given your use case and your needs and your budget at the end of the day.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, because you can spend a lot of money on all of these tools. And one thing, I mean, I use Opus as well, and they introduced a couple of new things recently whereby they've allowed you now to do automatic ingestion. Sounds like a complaint, but with YouTube and all your other platforms, as soon as you finish a live stream or any show in that particular point where it's actually been published, it'll automatically ingest that for you, and it doesn't use any credits until it asks you about what you want to actually do with that. But it just automates that workflow a little bit easier for you instead of having to click on the URL and upload it. So that's one great thing. And then they've introduced some automatic B-roll and other sort of little tweaks and changes to. And have you ever tried
taking
that?
my notes.
Because it's
It's
quite
okay.
funny. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to, because I thought you were going to move on to the next one. I thought you were going to move to the next one. Sorry.
No, go on.
Carry on with that then, because I wanted to ask you about how you've used that in your workflow and how you're actually doing that.
Well, you just answered it. So there we go.
Neil, put your questions in the chat.
Yeah, I'll put my question in the chat. So, you got a question? That's been here. I thought you were going to move on. My apologies.
No,
But
I
do
was
you
going to
use
move on,
those?
but then yes, I do. And I was going to move on and then jump back and show how they all integrate.
Okay.
But that's,
Well, I'll let
it's
you
all
go.
good. It's all, no.
See, we're on the same
It's all
line.
good.
You know what we do.
We're on this. I see you. I see you.
It's your show. That's our show.
You feel me?
Let's move on then.
So moving on, Tela is something new that I've just been playing with, honestly. And it's a way to do screen captures and film yourself at the same time. So I know you can do this in Descript. You can do it in a lot of other things. It just allows you to put it all together into one place so that you're grabbing your screenshot and getting that, that whole thing put together like that. It's multi-platform, so you could scoot it out to Slack. You could scoot it out to different platforms and integrate it, which is very cool. So this is a new one for me, and I find it's interesting, especially if you're doing workshops or you're doing a webinar, or it's just something you're doing a YouTube video and you need to have yourself on screen and capture your screen. So, any questions about that, young men?
I just got one question. How does it compare with Loom? Have you used Loom? Is it similar?
Yes, I have used
Loom.
Loom.
My question as well.
Yeah, it is similar. I think it's a little more robust in the extras that you can do with it. That's what I would say. Again, this is new on my plate.
Cool.
I find it interesting. I stopped using Loom as much because I could do that in Descript. A lot of the stuff I was doing. So again, a lot of these tools are overlapping. You just have to understand, what do you like working with? Do you like how it flows? Do you like the interface? All that stuff comes into play, because if you don't, you're not going to use it, and it's going to sit there. So even though there's overlap, find what works for you, what works with your workflow or just your visual aesthetic. There's some things I won't use because I just don't like the way they look.
Right.
How shallow of me, but okay.
Well, I think we're lucky
Superficial
then,
with
Neil, 'cause we
AI
might have not even
tools.
got the
I
show
don't
going.
believe it. I don't believe it. Mark, do you have any questions before I ask the questions that I'm not supposed to ask?
No.
No, this is all.
Move on. It's like, no, move on.
I love live. Oh, it's
Oh,
good.
it's wonderful. All right. Swiftly, do you want to move on to the next one, Lisa?
Yeah, just really quickly, and I'm going to come back and actually on Substack I'll write about this, because this is a big beefy one. I love Notion. Notion handles everything. Notion handles everything with the show, as far as me keeping track of production, where things are, where files are. You can use the AI that is within Notion to help you if you're writing something it's not right. You can plug it in there and it'll help you write it. So it does a little bit of what you would get with chat or with Claude or whatever else. This is my hub. You guys know the show exists within here. You can easily find everything when we're looking for things. And so I highly recommend finding a tool to use like Notion if you don't want to use Notion, but I completely am behind this. It's a great tool. It'll keep you organized. It will keep you, if you're trying to be creative and just brainstorm, you can do it here, and then you can find the notes and then integrate it with other notes you have. So I think it's brilliant. So those are my 4, and that's that.
Do you need to circle back, or are you good? Do you want to talk about any of the interactions and things with them, or have I ruined that now?
I would just say the interactions because if you use Notion as the base, is if you've pulled something that's come from Cast Magic and you want to just bring it over to Notion and then start organizing your thoughts, or what has been pulled up from the different things, you can bring it over to Notion, and then that kind of just keeps it all in one hub. Otherwise, don't do what I used to do is, it's somewhere in Google Docs somewhere, and then somewhere in Notes somewhere, and somewhere else. And now it's all in one space, and within Notion, you can do drop downs, and it's all organized, and I can really keep my workflow together instead of searching. It's like you did a video and you're searching for the file and you can't find it when you need to edit it. And so we all know that's not any good. That's no fun. So again, Notion is my hub. They all have AI integrated into them somehow, and they can all coexist and work together in different ways.
Definitely. I mean, I love Notion as well. I still haven't got everything from Google Docs or Notes into Notion yet, but the plan is to just have it as a central place. But I think just on your experience and what you've told Mark and I about using Notion, I think it's definitely the thing to use, especially with the integrations and stuff, and which you can talk about in your subsequent Substack post coming up at some point. Well, thank you very much for those. I will say that Cast Magic also was on AppSumo recently, so there's always deals to be had on a lot of these tools, whether it's Descript, Cast Magic. There was another couple that were Marquee as well, which I think I got Marquee, which I'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah, I think Opus they have a special right now, which is cheaper than the entry level one, which I didn't quite understand, but yeah. So,
and AppSumo also has a subscription model. So if you pay like $90 for the year, you get it's almost like a first dibs, for want of a better term, at these offers. And sometimes they'll do the exclusive offers for the tools only if you're a subscriber to AppSumo. So it's like you can subscribe if you're a subscriber with a subscription that you're going to buy for the subscription, which is a bit confusing. But there you go. So, but might be well worth it, especially with some of these tools that are very sort of high priced in terms of full functionality. You can get like the full lifetime functionality of these tools with an AppSumo deal. So it's pretty good. But I have looked at Cast Magic. I do like it. I just find that there's a lot in it, and maybe it's just too much for what I need.
There is, but you can corral it, and I thought that at first, but now that I've been in it, I think it's really useful because for me, one thing that might be generated gives me ideas for something else that I didn't think of, and I look at it that way. And so then now I'm integrating that into some other part of my social or some other part of something I'm trying to create. Right. So yes, there is a lot, but you can pick and choose what you want it to give you. You don't have to do all of it. Fair enough. There's parts of it I don't need. Right.
Well, we have some comments. We have some people joining us. Let's get through these first, and then we'll go on to Mr. Taylor. So we have Endra Trading. Thank you. What is your name, Endra Trading? I mean, I don't think that's your either company name or so on. So let us know what your actual real name is. If you've told us before, I do apologize. I can't remember. But thank you for joining us. Saeed, thanks for joining us as well. And Endra Trading says he's definitely going to try Teller. Yeah, I only heard of that from one other person a few months ago, and not looked into it, but it does look interesting, especially if you're doing quick
workshops and quick things. Yeah.
So controversial comment here from Saeed. If something is on AppSumo, isn't that a sign? I mean, a bad one. In my experience, no. Ecamm
No.
was on AppSumo many years ago, I think originally, and I think I got Marky from AppSumo. So I think there's like top priced applications that sometimes appear on AppSumo. But interested to know your experience and so on with your workflows and applications that you might have bought as well. Thank you for clarifying. Well, hello, Ender. Brilliant. All right, Mark, it is time for your special ones.
Special ones. Well, I thought I'd take it in a slightly different direction because there are a million and one things, or it seems like there are a million and one tools and new things coming out all the time. And I thought I'd sort of take you on my journey in terms of how AI has been integrated within some of the things that I was already using and how that's kind of sort of helped me, and also means you can kind of see a bit more of a lateral and a more general progression into AI rather than I need to learn this whole new thing. Because that's certainly been the thing that's been quite supportive for me, and you kind of sort of feel like it's contained within a program that you were already using, so you kind of feel like you've got that safety net, or you've got the support systems, or maybe you've got a community related to these things that can help you out and support you with them. So that was kind of my idea of sort of a slightly different take on AI generally, and I'll start with Captivate because that's my podcast host. And what they did is they introduced Spark AI, which is the AI tool that they have in it. And basically, for anyone who's got a podcast or a show, there's a million things that you need to do around it, apart from obviously just the recording and things as well. And it was always the thing that took the most time, coming up with a decent title, the description, some of the SEO related stuff, your URLs. You know, there's a whole load of things that you wanted to put within the show notes, within the descriptions, that you had to do or research on your own. And the AI that came into this, actually, as you can see there, generates a whole load of stuff related to your episode. And it starts to kind of do it based on your previous episodes as well. So it's not just coming out with what it's taken from your episode transcription or on actually using the audio that you've put in. It's actually doing it based on everything that you've got within the platform. And that's been fantastic. As much as anything, it just made the whole process much quicker. And also, I sort of, when I first started doing it, I'd sort of do it on my own and use the AI to sort of see how it would work out. And to be honest, within an episode or two, I was thinking, actually, not only is it quicker, but it's actually doing a better job than I actually need it to be as well. And as I sort of got more used to it, I've got a format, I've got a flow, I've got a way of working with these things. Some of it I use sort of religiously almost. Some of it I'm like, I kind of see what it's doing, but I actually need to rework it or reuse it to put it in my voice. I'm in the UK. I've got an English way of doing these things. It comes across quite American sometimes, and it certainly doesn't sound like me. And it doesn't quite sound in the way that I've done things historically. So I sort of do a little bit of tweaking to make it work that way. But it's been really helpful and beneficial, like I said, from a time point of view. But just like a lot of the AI tools, giving you that kind of content to begin with, giving you that sense of, this is brilliant because I now have something I can work with, tweak a little bit, take some of these things out, or at least sort of reword it in a way that's going to make it really helpful for me. And it's been brilliant, and it's within a tool that I've been using for sort of 8 years or so. So it felt like a very natural progression. All the support network was there. There were videos to help show what it was going to do and how it was going to work. And like I say, all these things have a price tag. I think this was something like $60 for the year on top of the subscription I had. And I would say it saves me 2 or 3 hours a week. I mean, it's a little bit of a no-brainer, I think.
I was going to ask you that because that is so valuable to have something that's going to save you, even if it's an hour a week, something like that, because that could then be put into doing something else. And if it's reasonable in terms of the output, I know you said you have to tweak it. And with a lot of these models and things, you do have to train them. Sometimes you get things wrong. And it's always worth validating the output. But I think just looking at the list here, what it does, I mean, that the SEO description and keywords, you could be spending a lot of time just researching that yourself. That could be hours of work just for one podcast, if you want it to rank specifically as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And when my guests book onto my show, often, well, I asked them to give me a bio or sort of an introduction or something that I can use which is related to them. And sometimes they're brilliant because I can literally copy and paste it in, maybe change a couple of things, but it's written in their word, in their language, what they're trying to get across, and it's absolutely fantastic. Sometimes I get just a URL or an about page from somewhere, which makes it really hard to rewrite it or takes a lot of time. So at that point, what I can do is Captivate will give me like an introduction suggestion. It will give me a summary suggestion. I think there are 2 or 3 of them that they give you and you can use and sort of make that into one yourself. So even at that point where I think I've got all my bases covered from how I've set the show up to begin with, it actually gives me other options in other situations as well, and that's really been invaluable as well. And like all these things, you kind of find that you make the most of everything you have to hand, and then the sort of the final output is based on your sort of collective knowledge of all those things. But to have it built into a tool you're already using, rather than, like Lisa was saying, this is a new tool I'm sort of getting into, that always feels like a lot if you're time poor or you're sort of feeling like AI is just too much to kind of get your head around, as it were. This felt like a really supportive, natural next step with a limited learning curve that you could do gradually, but made an immediate impact on what I was producing.
Fantastic. And this is a recent thing you said that they added?
Yeah, I guess it's probably last autumn. I think it probably came in. So this is the first iteration. I think there's an upgrade and a second iteration coming soon, which I understand is going to be even better. But it just feels like now it's so much part of my workflow, and like I said, definitely taking hours out of what I've been able to produce. And also, like I say, with positive content as well, I think. And it sort of freed me up to, because like I say, some of those keyword researches and titles and is it working this way, is it better to do it this way, is it better to do it that way, it starts to sort of help you just feel like at least I'm in the right ballpark at the moment. And then, like I say, you can tweak from there and you can play around with it, but at least it sort of feels like it's a really good sort of foundation to step from.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. Would you like me to move on to your next?
Yeah, let's talk about the script, because this is it's a little bit like the same sort of thing. Now, one of the things that I felt when I was producing my show was that the whole social thing was a whole nother marketing world, around once you've done your recording and your editing and you've got the whole thing up. And of course you want to be able to use a lot of what you can for the social posts and all that. I'm sort of thinking sort of a year or 2 ago. And it always felt like the thing I didn't quite have the time for, or the thing I couldn't do well enough to make a difference. So I'd be doing text posts, and obviously the world was very different a year or 2 ago. But now, things like Descript are making a big advance in that, and it's actually really changed what I think I can produce and how quickly and the quality of it. So the reason I chose Descript was because back in the day I used Ecamm to record it and stream, obviously, but I also used Squadcast, and Squadcast was then bought out by Descript, so I sort of became part of it, enjoyed the idea of editing from all the text. But what they did with their new AI as it's come in with Underlaws is the fact that now what I'm able to do is able to put the transcripts in, or put the files in, and whether it's audio only to get some kind of visual, or whether it's actually putting the video in and creating a proper clip, I just use it more and more to create either highlight reels or actual social clips. And the highlight reels I use for the front of my podcast now to be able to sort of get that kind of those nitty gritty bits that you want people to hear before the show and the interview gets started. And like I said, the idea of getting some good social posts. And when it first started, I sort of felt like it needed a lot of work around the initial thing they produced, and I put it into a different program. The last few ones I've been doing in the last sort of few weeks actually have done a really good job off the bat, and I've now feel confident that it's part of my workflow after I've done the recording and the editing and all the stuff that's doing it. This new part of actually being able to create much better social posts within a decent time frame, and actually know how to organize it and produce it within a program that I was using already, like I said, is just getting better and better and better. And once you kind of feel safe that you know how it's going to work and what the quality you can produce is going to be useful, then it makes a big deal. And it's sort of an actual sort of real world situation. I had an interview with someone recently, and we decided we were going to sort of play around with it, do some slightly different things, and I did 3 or 4 posts which I put out as shorts, just asking it to do it from these social posts, and they've had much better interaction than anything I'd created before of one of those things. And it's just the way it played around, a few kind of keywords in there and a little bit of a description, but it seems to be that the bits of the context they brought out of that one sort of 50-minute interview into sort of 3 or 4 shorts has made all the difference. And so it's really added to what I've been able to produce from that one piece of content in a positive way and in an organic, natural way with a tool that I was using already. So it's not that kind of really scary thing because I need to learn a whole new thing. It's sort of been that progression, the same as with Captivate, but in a way that I find really sort of helpful in a really positive way. And that's kind of been my kind of way of thinking that AI is going to be supportive in what I'm doing rather than this whole new world I need to get into.
Can I ask you a question? I'm just out of curious because you've done over 400 episodes at this point? What's the exact number? I'm sorry.
448 went live.
448. Congratulations. Have you thought about, because within Descript you can do the audiograms. I thought it'd be kind of cool to go back to some of those earlier episodes, throw them into Descript and turn them into audiograms to feed into social or whatever to get new ears and eyeballs, I guess. Ears since it's audio.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you've been in my head for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
I know. We got a phone call. We have to have. But that's perfect for that,
Yeah, that's exactly that, because episode 448, so I'm coming up to the 450, and I was sort of thinking how to kind of use that as a kind of a marker in the sand. And also because it's an education, my podcast, I'm going to sort of wanted to use the summer holidays as a slightly different way of doing it, and doing some best of and opposite putting those sort of things together is going to be really a good way of doing that. And that's exactly what I was thinking, was different ways that I could use it in different ways to produce it as like an audiogram or something different within social as well. Seemed like a really good way. And like I say, the fact I've got so much content, and I didn't want to just say go back and listen to this episode, to kind of repurpose it in a way which feels modern and fresh, despite the fact it might have been 5 years ago. Seemed like a really good idea, and that using what you've got is a really sort of exciting thing for me, because I think those conversations were brilliant back then. I just didn't really know what to do with them or how to do with it, or the capability wasn't there without going through and doing lots of manual editing. And now the fact you suddenly feel like I've got this whole library of stuff which I'm able to just bring in and repurpose and help, it's there to support people. So if we can do that what we've got already, then it's an absolute win-win.
AI will help you do many compilation shows.
That's it. I'm here for the next 10 years.
There you go. You're good.
Repurpose.
Yeah. So that was kind of my take on those two things, the way it's sort of a natural progression into something that I've already been using.
Well, thank you very much. And I know that you've only really started using Descript in Anger recently, and I've noticed on the posts and things where you've got the teasers at the beginning and everything, and it looks really good. So, it's saving you time. You're not having to put it into a complicated editing workflow and have to do that, because to pull those bits out yourself is time consuming, particularly when you haven't got a tool like Descript. So they've made so many changes recently. Looking at the forums, it's a bit, some people love what they've done. Some people say, can you just fix the problems first and then add the new features? So it's a little bit of that, but they've got to keep up with everybody else, because as we've seen from Lisa, with Cast Magic and other tools, there's a ton of tools out there that there's so much overlap between them now. You just have to find the flow that works for you, and then stick with a tool that's really just gonna, one that you resonate with and one that you can understand. And I think there's lots of tools out there for people. Who knows what it's going to be like in another 2 years, where we're just flooded.
Like 2 months.
2 months, 2 weeks at the rate that we're going here. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Mark and Lisa, for those. There's a couple more coming up. Before we move on to the next section, we have a couple of comments. So Ender did say that, and I've heard of this tool before and play with it, but I thought it was expensive, but apparently here's a workaround. So a simple tool for keyword and topic research for naming is Answer the Public. If you pay for 1 month and cancel, they will offer you a lifetime for something like $25. Well, that's a top tip, because I have used and played with that before, and it is a really good keyword research tool, because it's actually, live data, and it's a good resource. But it was expensive because you could only get so much out of it. But it's cool now.
Right. Yeah.
And Saeed says...
There's that, and there's keywords everywhere too. is
Oh,
similar.
keywords everywhere. Yeah, there's
to
so
that.
many,
Yeah,
right?
that's old. Those are old school as far at this point. Seriously,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Answering the public is old school back, and the keywords. But
They were 6 weeks ago. They're old school now. Hi, Florence. Thank you so much for joining us. Long time no see.
hi.
Thank you for being here. Okay. So we've got a couple of questions that we can ask you in a moment on Streamer Live, but I'll just go on to a couple that I was going to talk about, which I use in my workflow. Make.com, Perplexity, and Marquee. And Marquee is a recent addition to my workflow. I'm still finding my feet with it, but it's a great app. So let's crack on and talk about Make.com. So for those who don't know what Make.com is an automation workflow tool. And the purpose behind it is to automate some form of repetitive, tedious thing that you would do using AI. Now, that's either going to be using AI assistants, AI agents, or integrations with other platforms. So I typically create lots of posts now on LinkedIn, and every Monday I was creating a post for the up-and-coming live streams that I had during the week. So typically we have one today, obviously with our team here, the Creative Amplifiers, and then I have one on Thursday, and sometimes there's a splinter one thrown in there in the week. But what I was typically doing is writing this post on LinkedIn, having to go to the descriptions, find the URLs, find the titles of my YouTube videos that I've scheduled in advance, and then create this LinkedIn post, which I was doing manually. And you might think, okay, well, that's too much, not too much time, but it was a bit tedious. And for me, I thought, how can I automate this process? And I wanted to get into using Make.com because I've seen multiple videos online around how it can automate various different workflows. So I thought I'd set myself the challenge in saying, I need to be able to create this automatically. Now, it's not going to post to LinkedIn automatically. It can, but I've sort of ring fence that because I do want to verify what it's coming up with. Because, as Mark said, sometimes it has a different spin on things. It makes you sound not like you. So there is potentially some tweaking to do. But this particular workflow have saved me at least an hour's worth of work every Sunday or Monday when I typically was going to publish these. And Make.com is a web-based service. So you can sign up for free. And you can just play around with automation. And the way that I would look at this is if you have a repetitive task that you do on a daily, weekly basis that you really could streamline, whether it be taking in and ingesting some information from other people's social posts or emails that you're getting and want to turn that and convert that into something else using AI, then this is the tool for you. There's many others out there. There's another one called N8N, which has more advanced workflows. I'm not going to go through this with you step by step. That's hopefully going to be something that we can do on a Substack live stream at some point in the future. And I think what we'll plan to do is create some workflows for you and show you some of these tools in action. And we'll have all the information on our Substack page as and when they come available. But effectively, just to show you what this does, there's always a start in the beginning. So the start of this workflow simply is bringing in all my YouTube live streams that I've scheduled for the particular week. This is a trigger. It's not done automatically in terms of it doesn't run in the background. I just trigger this by using this Run Now button. It'll simply go out, grab the YouTube videos. Everybody's got access to their own YouTube material. It's using something called an API, which is an application programmable interface. And effectively all that means is just a login details to grab your YouTube details and pull them in. I then have a few sort of transformers because of the way that the text comes in and so on. But the main deal is that it's going to write and pick up the URL, the description, the time of the live stream, all that automatically, and use, in this particular case, Claude to write the framework of the actual LinkedIn post. And it's going to populate that post with all the information it grabs from the details in the YouTube channel. Sounds complicated, it's not, it just have to follow a particular workflow, but essentially it's saving me a lot of time dragging all this information in. And if I change anything on my YouTube schedule, then I can automatically grab this again and rewrite the post and amend it and so on. So it's no big deal. And then once it's finished writing, it just pushes it to a database. Simply put, it's just like Google Sheets, something like that. I'm just using something called Airtable, which is a free tool to use. Now, Make.com is free to play around with, but once, as Lisa said, you start getting into the weeds, then really you should start paying for a subscription because you get much more automation control. many more iterations and things like that. But it's a really useful tool that I've created 5 or 6 different automations for various different tasks that I'm using on a day-to-day basis. And this alone is saving me time, and I'm working on other things that is also saving me a ton of time as well. Only your imagination is what's limiting what you can technically do now with these automation tools. So if you remember things like if, then, this, that, then it's basically that on steroids. And I would, if you're getting interested in automation and working with assistants and things like that and creating your own sort of workflows, then I would definitely start with mate.com because it's quite an intuitive interface. There's a great community out there. There's 1,000,001 YouTube videos on different workflows and so on. So all you got to do is do some searches on make.com automation and you can play around with that. So any questions from either of you before I move on to the next tool? I'm losing my voice. I can feel it.
I was just going to ask, just from that kind of really basic standpoint, you mentioned a couple of things about AI, and then you did a couple of things after that in terms of different parts of AI. Can you take it right back to the very, very basic thing? So if I'm thinking AI, I'm thinking ChatGPT, or I'm thinking Claude, but the things that you use within that, the different sort of bits of terminology that you were talking about at the very start of that, and how that fits in with what you were talking about.
Well, yeah, in terms of this particular piece, this is the first part of the workflow. This is really a connector to your YouTube channel. So it's not using ChatGPT or anything like that. These are parts of software that's available for anybody to use. So if you've got a Google account, you can basically get your access, your channel ID and things to your YouTube channel, all via Google. And these are called connectors. This connector will go out and grab the respective data from your YouTube channel. So that's just one way of using it. It's not all AI specifically. AI is part of the workflow. You could actually have a workflow that doesn't include any sort of AI components. It's a workflow automation. It could just be a simple case of pulling some data from your YouTube channel description URL, then putting it into something called a transformer, which just basically converts the data that it's getting from YouTube into human readable text, which then you can use to actually post and do something else. So you could actually write everything yourself. You could ignore the AI component, grab all the information that's stored in one of these, pop it into a Google Sheet, and then you could write your own. It's just saving me time because I want AI to do all the heavy lifting and do the writing for me. So there's a sort of a combination of an AI assistant, which is sitting here, and an automation workflow steps, do A, do B, do C, throw data into here, and then pass it to one after the other. And it's just a chain. It's changing these sort of things together. So in its simplest form, you could just basically, as I said, look at your Google Gmail, look for a particular phrase in that Gmail workflow, pop it into a transformer, sort of merge the text around and throw it into a Google Sheet and give it something else. So it's just taking an input and passing it to something else and transforming it into something that you could read or use or repurpose somewhere else. So it's almost like a repurposing tool, but actually customized highly to whatever you particularly want to do. And as I said, if there's a task that you want to do that and automate, then why not do something using mate.com, for example.
And it feels like they're all acting like little, even if they're not AI generated things, they're acting like little agents as an AI agent would act.
That's right.
You're sending them off to do little do a task and come back so it can move on to the next thing. So
and this is all under this vibe coding movement, right? We're not coders, engineers. Well, I'm not anyway. There's lots of great people out there are. So this makes the coding workflow. To do this in code, I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't know where to start, right? Yeah. And this is why it's a wonderful time to be around, wonderful time to be alive, because now all this technology, these workflows, these tools, these things that were just inaccessible for the mere mortals unless you had a coding background, now it makes it accessible for everybody. So you can do some really funky, fun things. And it's fun to create something. It's just like back in the days when you had Meccano or Lego. I mean, there's a few people here that probably won't remember that because they're far too young. But especially Meccano.
Wait, what was the first one?
Meccano. Do you not remember that? It was like metal shapes that you would bolt together. Mark, you must remember Meccano. Help me out.
I do remember Meccano.
No, but I don't
think
know. It might be an American thing. I don't know it. That's what
Meccano,
I'm
yeah,
asking.
it's like, I'll have to look it up online, but Meccano, yes, it's all these little shapes and nuts and bolts and metal things. You could make like little trucks and things with it, but it was around the same time as Lego, but it was the metal pieces of it. Anyway, yeah, so I really do enjoy using make.com for automating tedious workflows and things like that. And yeah, you should give it a go, even if you just want to play around with things. And there's lots of different workflows. And there's lots of videos online that you could just follow. And that's what I did. I just followed one guy's sort of automation just to get familiar with what this terminology is and how it works. But yeah, it's fun. Got a few comments coming in, so I'll go over to the comment screen for a second. So let's see who we have here. Sahid says, all these tools sound like K-pop groups to me. I'm getting old. Indeed. Hey, Roy, he was trying to watch it from Substack and it just fell over for me. Back to the real platform. Ooh, Substack crashed. And well, you know, the live implementation isn't 100% ratified yet, I think. And there's a few things that they could do with it, particularly with chat and stuff. So, but thanks for joining us over here anyway. But at least you started watching on Substack, so thanks a lot. George is in the house. Hello, George. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, George.
And Roy misses if, then, this, that. I can never remember what the other T is. But yeah, there's so many T's. All right, let's go quickly back to this. So that was make.com. The next tool that I love using now is Perplexity. So Perplexity is a deep research/search research engine on steroids. That is a mouthful. And I don't use Google anymore. So I've sort of moved over to Perplexity. I click on my Chrome browser and Perplexity opens up as my default tab. And effectively, Perplexity allows you to use any of the respective LLMs, large language models, to do its research. You can see, hopefully in the screenshot, it is a bit small, that there is a list of various different LLMs that it can use for its particular research. It will, by default, use its sonar, which will choose the best language model for your particular search. And the difference between this and Google is that if you query something, I was looking for a new a new tumble dryer the other day. Give me the best tumble dryer of 2025 in Europe with the best ratings. Now, you can go onto Google and you'll get line after line after line after line after line. You go and search down and scroll down, and it's just tedious. This is saving you a lot more time now with the ability to give you real contextual results based on research, based on articles, based on real world data, but it's formatted in a way that it's easily digestible. It spits out tables, gives you citations of where the reference material is coming from, and it gives you a much better overview. And I'll just show you a quick couple of screenshots in a second on how it does that. The other option is that you can select where you want to do the research from. So for example, if you didn't want to search the web and just wanted to look at things like social platforms, it'll search all the social media platforms like X, Reddit, Blue Sky, all the usual suspects, and give you references from there. So if you want to look at sort of trends, what's going on, doing some research for particular topics, you might go on to Reddit and do some research there, but you could use Perplexity in this example and start to sort of dig in a little bit deeper and then augment that with other search criteria that you might want to find. So it's very, very powerful. It's also got a new labs feature, which you can create similar things to assistants on here as well. You can also tailor Perplexity to what it particularly looks for based on your search criteria. So you can have little projects and things like you can do within ChatGPT and so on. So a quick example is, I just put in here, which low-cost webcam offers the best 4K quality for streaming in 2025? That was my search criteria. You can see here that it comes up with different news articles. So you've got CNN, YouTube, old sort of top videos and things like that. And this is all sort of recent stuff. It's going to give you some information around all the different sort of results on these webcams. And then it will give you follow-up questions. So if you're thinking about, well, okay, well, that's fine, I understand that. Now you can go into sort of, how does the Elgato Facecam Pro compare to the price and quality in 2025 compared to other things? You can ask these questions, but it just makes it simpler to dig down further and get the answers you want very quickly. I know a lot of people now that have just moved over to Perplexity because they just can't be bothered with Google, because Google is a pain. So right now, Perplexity is very popular. I use Perplexity's engine for doing research and deep research into various other topics that will then help me drive my make automation to then create news articles and posts and just reference stuff. And I'm even using it for creating ideas for content for YouTube and other things. If I'm doing a research on a particular product, then I'll use Perplexity to research all the information around it before I do a review on a particular camera or audio interface or whatever it might be at the particular time. So this has changed the way that I work. And if I could quantify it, yes, it is saving me time because it's giving me answers very quickly without me having to dig through and do sort of exhaustive searches on Google. I'm not saying Google's going away, of course it's not, but there are other ways of doing that. Even Google's AI, is it Gemini, has got sort of built into the Google sort of main engine now. So obviously Gemini is doing a very similar thing, but Perplexity is pretty good as well. So Said's asking a question around the pro plan versus the free. So the main difference is that the free plan limits daily the amount of deep research queries that you can do, and it's limited to 3, but you can use Perplexity over and over again for just standard research and so on. And the deep research is obviously with reasoning and sort of digs in deeper. With the pro version, I think you get like 100 or 200 per day, something like that. The pro version is something like, I want to say $16 a month, something like that. It's not ridiculous. They all seem to be at the similar price point. Have you noticed that most of these AI tools now are at
16,
sort of
19,
16,
somewhere
20,
in there.
some are 39.
20, yeah.
It all depends on what you're looking for. So yes, I mean, it starts to mount up, but you've got to think about how much time is that saving you and how much is your time worth? How much is your time could be spent maybe gathering leads, generating business, serving customers and things like that. So this is why it's important to, as Lisa's mentioned before and Mark as well, find the tools that are relevant to your workflow, how they fit into your workflow, and just don't go crazy and sort of try and look at buying all of them and then working out these are not going to be good for me. And the fact that there are monthly workflows, monthly subscriptions as well, that you can try them for a month. You can try the whole bells and whistles for a month on one particular tool. And then if it doesn't work for you, you can just go back to the free plan, right? Which is nice, instead of signing up for a year and then you're stuck with it. And we've all done that, right? Anyway, let me just go back to the comments and I'll just go on to my last one. Perplexity is part of Magai. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I can't remember what Magai is now on the top of my head, but yeah, Perplexity is owned by or part of that organization, which apparently is a big deal, but I don't know why it's a big deal. Maybe you can explain to the users why it's a big deal. All right, last couple of things before the temperature in here gets above 100. The last one is, let me go through my slide build-up. Okay, real quick. My last one that I'm using is Marky.ai. This is quite a new and evolving content creation scheduler program. So think of it similar to Buffer. I think you use Later. Is that right, Lisa, for yours? Something like that?
For social, yeah.
For social. So what Marky is slightly different, I think, to some of those, whereby it's using AI to create and generate the posts for you, but based on your branding. So similar to what Lisa was mentioning at the beginning with, you can tailor certain things to your branding. You can put your color schemes, logos, and documentation that represents your brand. So like most AIs, you get the best out of them if you train them on what you are all about, what your company is about, what your offering is about, and so on. So I've trained Marky on, what I'm interested in, what I do for my customers and things like that. That's either Substack posts, offerings, copies of emails, whatever it might be. You can train Marky to basically write as you based on the social postings that you want to create related to your brand and offerings. And I've been very impressed with it so far. I'm using it quite a lot at the moment, specifically around LinkedIn and other things. Again, I'm not using it where I just generate something blindly and let it post. I will review that because it's based on my stories, it's based on my experience. I want to make sure that it's accurate as well. But it does come up with some great ideas. So you can train it to say, these are all the things I'm interested in. And then you can ask it for some suggested topics for posts, which, as we all know, it's difficult to come up with social content every day. And particularly when, the rules of thumb say that you should be posting between 3 and 5 pieces of content per day somewhere, depending where you are. And we can't all be everywhere. So you need the tools from an AI perspective to either automate that process, schedule it as you would do in Buffer later and other things, or at least help create some of the content. And it's not just text-based. You can basically give it images of yourself, things that you've used in the past. I've got photographs of when I used to take pictures and of me sort of with cameras and stuff. And also it'll generate some fun stuff like memes and other sort of AI generated content. And also pull stuff from the internet that it's allowed to use. So it's got a lot of content in there where you can create images and so on. You've got a library of images to choose from. You've got all kinds of things. And it's basically allowing you to post to Instagram, LinkedIn, X. I think it's got Blue Skies coming. So again, it's a nice community whereby they are listening to the users and adding new features. They seem to update it every week or so with something new. Apparently X is broken at the moment because of its rate limited. And I've noticed on Restream that there's problems connecting to Instagram. So there's lots of things that aren't working at the moment. But in terms of where you can post, this is a really sort of useful workflow, and I can schedule all my posts in advance. There's a few things that I would like it to have that Buffer has, for example, or later. But in terms of creating social content, this was one of my biggest issues. It was difficult for me to do that. I'm busy with clients and stuff. So it's nice during my Sunday where I spend a couple of hours doing my Sunday social posting workflows. I'll generate some content based on maybe something that's coming up with either Creative Amplifiers here or what I'm doing on my other live streams, make it relevant to what I'm doing, and then interact with people if they should comment on the post that I've published to LinkedIn and certain things like that. So I really like Marky. I got it from AppSumo. I got a lifetime deal. It was only available for a couple of days. And I think it was Tanya from Stream Like a Boss that was watching a live stream of hers who mentioned this. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll give it a blast. And I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was something like $80 for a lifetime thing. So it was a pretty good deal. Now, is it going to be around in 3 weeks? Who knows with AI, but hopefully it is, and I'll keep posting with it. So there we are. That's my lot anyway. So
somebody will buy it out.
That's the problem. Somebody will buy it out.
Somebody will buy it out.
We've got a few more comments. Goodness me, so many comments. Thanks everybody for joining today. It's fun. What did Roy say? Code Kelly30 gets 30% off if folks wanted to try it for a month. Is that Perplexity you're referring to? Can you tell us what that is? Because people can jump on that as well. Hi, Dave. Magic AI is a bundled service, includes ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, and others. Ooh, for 20.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Said said, X is broken, at least since... Yes. All right. Well, one last AI tool that I like, it's sort of AI, but not AI, and we'll talk about it right now, is Streamalive. Streamalive is the interaction tool for audience participation, interaction, and fun stuff. It has quite a few AI components built in. So just for giggles, whilst we're all here, and those of you who are still in the chat, let us know where you are coming from. Just make sure that it's reset. So just type in the chat your town, city, country, wherever. Post it in there. Let's see us all pop up. I probably can't post it from here because I've got too many things. Maybe I can try. Let me just see if it'll come up for me. I'll just post. Where am I today? You can lie if you don't want to know where you are. There's no secrets here. But if you want to post, I've just posted from Restream. It might pop up. Is it going to pop up? It's disappeared.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, cool. There it is. There is, and Said is in Dortmund, Germany. Of course you are. Just popped up. Anybody else? And then we'll just ask a couple of questions because we're going to take a little survey here. So I'm interested to know what workflows or what tools you guys are using in the chat. Now, I know Roy is a big user of ChatGPT and so on like that, but it worked indeed. All right, I'm going to go to Wonder Words, Wonder Cloud real quick. Last one before we close. So tell us what AI tool you're using. What's your favorite? I'll post in mine if I can real quick. Can I post from me? Oh, yes. I'm going to do... okay, no surprises. Okay. So that should pop in a second. So let us know what your favorite AI tool is. In the meantime, some music. Mark's going to sing for us a little minute while we're waiting for this. Resume interaction.
We'll break the stream just yet. We're nearly done.
No. It's we'll get more views if you start singing. There you go. Oh, so Saeed says Miro. Okay, it comes with AI.
Yeah,
okay,
Miro.
cool. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of Miro. Anybody else out there uses AI? ChatGPT. I'm going to use Claude. Lisa mentioned to me a while ago Claude. I thought, it's fantastic. It's far better.
You come over to my side, haven't you?
Claude is great. I mean, you gotta use the tools that basically work the best for you, right? And I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And I think Claude is really cool. AI, ChatGPT is good for certain other things as well. Go ahead, Mark.
I think. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other thing to remember, we talked about all these things and how long they may or may not be around, is the fact that this is just a journey that you have to kind of surf over and enjoy it while it's there. You know, put some of the things which you think are going to be there for a while is an important part of your workflow, and the others just enjoy using them and sort of seeing how they go. I think if you get too bogged down in I'm always going to now use this and always use this, it may or may not be there, but also it's going to be very different in a month, let alone next year or the year after. So I think having that mindset of just kind of ebbing and flowing with these things as they progress and enjoying the journey and support everyone who's asking questions is probably a really key factor to keep the idea of AI and what it can do for you is an enjoyable thing rather than something which is going to be a little bit of a mountain to climb.
No AI robots in this house just yet, but we'll wait and see, of course. Just a matter of time. But there you go. And Saeed also said he tried Notebook LM for the first time. Notebook LM is great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I'm asking, did he enjoy using it, or I'm curious.
Yeah, and using it
for
research, using it for sort of, I mean, it keeps changing with the amount of research documents you can add to Notebook LM as well. You just can't keep up. The best YouTube channel to have at the moment is an AI news channel, because you'll never be short of material, because it just keeps going on and on and on and on.
Jill, Matt Wolf is killing it, right?
Oh, I mean, he started it, right? He
started it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's just got a bit of an annoying voice. But anyway, that's just me. So he tried Notebook LM for the first time. Let us know you get on with it. And hey, Jill, sending in all the robots. Well, that's a little bit scary. It's not Terminator time yet, but Saeed says he needs to get used to it, but he liked the concept. Yeah, what did you like about it specifically? Is it the automation of the podcast that it generates? I did hear that they were supposed to be bringing in additional voices to that. I know you can interact with the voices now.
You can interact with it now. Yeah, I'm having problems with people who are actually taking that podcast and putting it up. That's just me personally, because I want. I don't know. Can we keep something sacred?
You want real people? Yeah, I tried an experiment.
real people doing it. Yeah.
I did an experiment.
And so
I created one podcast from it with AI voices, and I think it was probably my worst performing thing for a while. But I mean, there you go. You got to try these things, right? People might like it, and that's the issue. I think, as we were speaking about last week, about the advent of, this is our Goldilocks period. This is a 1 year before we're going to get flooded with AI generated content that's going to be so realistic and so good. Is it going to be better?
It's here. It's already happening.
Yeah, especially with HeyGen and some of the crazy stuff that's going on there at the moment. Yeah, it's frightening.
But I wonder whether the whole creativity thing is going to be really, really interesting, because, of course, from everything that I've seen, the things that are created are based on what it's finding within the world already. So, of course, some of that's stereotypical, some of it's coming from places that you're not, I can kind of see where it's come from, but is it what I want it to be producing for me? And so I wonder whether that sort of full circle moment will come, because this is obviously AI, not because it looks like it's AI generated, but because you can kind of see where maybe all this has come from. But the actual human element of it and the creativity within that to produce something, even if it's using AI to produce it, I wonder whether that will become possible to see as well. Who knows in the future? But I think that's probably an important distinction, maybe.
Definitely.
It's interesting. There's been a prediction that within a few years, each one of us will have a AI persona that we can create. That's pretty much us. So if we don't want to be on camera, we don't have to be, and it's so realistic. I don't know what you guys think about that. I have mixed thoughts. Although these days, I'm happy not to not to turn on the camera.
Turn up, exactly. Well, the big reveal.
It's an interesting thought.
The big reveal. All three of us are not
AI.
even here. It's all AI. It's exactly. I mean, who would generate an AI of this? Let's not be silly. But anyway, all joking aside, I mean, we all have bad hair days. I'd rather just not go on camera and just tell my AI avatar to say, just generate a video and be on this live stream, please. Go and talk to these guests. It's so funny. We have a few more comments coming in. We're on a roll today. Where do I start? So Saeed was saying that he wanted to upload a recording of training and analyze it for the future. That's a great way, ingesting books, digesting difficult papers and asking questions. And it's great if you've got podcast guests and things like that, because if you want to do some research on them, you can throw in all their material, websites, papers they've written, books, whatever it might be, and then just start asking and formulating some questions based on the actual real data, which is much nicer than having to read through and sift through that yourself.
Can I just throw something in there? Not all platforms or AI platforms allow you to bulk upload a large volume of things. So for Notebook LM, that's what's kind of brilliant about it. You can put a huge amount of information. ChatGPT won't let you necessarily do that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So just be aware of, if that's what your workflow requires, then you need to have tomes of information.
Yes.
Then, look at which one you want to use for that.
Katie agrees with you. Hello, Katie. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Katie.
She wants real people. Yes. Well, we'll have them for about a year and a half, and then we'll all be cold with the. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Saeed says that he wants real people who use AI. There you go.
There you go. The compromise.
Roy says, I love AI. I use it every day. I probably need to stop this addiction. Well, you can ask AI to how to stop your addiction to AI. I'm sure it'll give you a response. And he also says, use Google ST Audio for that. You can give a link to your video and it will analyze it. Cool. There's lots of YouTube analyzers, optimizers out there as well. And Saeed says, Notebook LM has a limit of 100 megabytes for uploads. Yes. So you have to compress them. Yeah, and I think I've tried to upload like a large Excel spreadsheet of data and ask ChatGPT to manipulate it. It goes, I'll give you the first 5 entries. And it's
that's it, yeah.
And, something explodes in a data center somewhere. All right. Well, I'm giving our wonderful people who have joined us tonight a 5-minute warning to ask any more questions, comments, give us your thoughts on AI before we close this show for this evening. We are planning to take a little, it's not a summer break, it's just a break because we can. But if you want to keep up the conversation, speak to us about topics, let us know what you're interested in, and give us some feedback on AI and just content creation in general. You can always, if I find the right button, go to our Substack page. There's so many buttons here. Mark, I don't know how you did this. I mean, I'm sure it's an art form.
I'm glad you've taken over.
Muscle memory. Come and join us.
AI. I guess get you to do it.
I need AI. I need an AI robot to press buttons for me. That's
AI,
the next thing.
It is the next
stream
thing.
Deck. Stream AI.
Someone's listening. If they're smart, someone's listening.
Got a good question from Saeed that I'll come to in a second. Before that, if you want to join us, let us, and for us to tell you what we're doing, what we're up to, what up and coming workshops and all kinds of fun stuff that we're planning in the future, then come and join us here on Substack. It's free to join. You'll get some really good information. I mean, we're writing posts, 3 posts a week. So there's got to be something interesting. Don't take any notice of of what myself and Mark write, but the ones from Lisa are pretty good. The other ones, yeah, a bit suspect. But either way, if you want to come and join us, you're welcome. Click on the QR code. It'll take to our Substack page. It's free to join us. But if you want to give us lots and lots of money, Bitcoin or whatever, we accept all kinds of currency. So just to let you know about that. Anyway, come and join us. All joking aside, we'd love to share some of the comments and some of the stories that we're putting together on here, and it's a fun place to be. And I like Substack. It's just a nice place to be, especially when we go live on there as well. So and thanks, Roy, for joining us originally on Substack. So comments, goodness me, Jill, thank you. Love the QR code. Well, it's an easy way of doing it now, so thank you so much for your subscription. So Saeed says, which AI tool do you regret paying for? Who wants to answer that one first?
Wow.
I don't think I've got one that I regret paying
Yeah.
for. I think it's more of a challenge of what to decide to go for next, because like you said, that trade-off between these things can save you lots of time, but actually in some ways it can cost you lots of time as you start to learn them all, and also it's evolving all the time as well. So I think, yeah, I'm sort of looking at it in kind of where do you start to just tiptoe and where you want to put that money. And I think what you said about the monthly recurring thing's probably the key thing. Have enough time to play around with it, and then you can always dip out and then try something else if you want to go down there. But so far, of what I've been using, yeah, no regrets.
I would say, I'm sorry, I would say like research and really look at the overlap of the various tools, because if there's enough that two do the same things, but one does it maybe a little bit better, and you can augment it with Chat or Claude, you know what I'm saying, and bring something else in just to fill in that gap. I would do that. I experiment, and I think you do too, Neil and Mark, with a lot of this because I have clients who want to know.
Yeah.
And not everybody, may be as tech friendly or, technologible or whatever you want to call it. So I play with a lot of things, so I can recommend it to people, knowing where their level is. And,
right.
You don't want people frustrated because then they won't put out the content. So yeah, do your research, see what you need.
Yeah, I'm racking my brains to think. I mean, I've dabbled with a few and sort of settled on some that I like, but I don't think I've paid for anything.
Me either.
That I regret. I mean, I've paid for different software tools in the past, specifically music plugins that haven't done the thing that I wanted them to do, and were a bit of a waste of money. But we could have a whole show about what gear we've bought that we regret. Now that list is long.
That's a show.
That's long and distinguished, that list. Anyway, so that's interesting. So some final comments. I think this is the first, and this is a bit of history here. This is the first super chat, because it's come through on my channel, I can see, that I've received ever on YouTube. Jill, thank you so much for that. $1 that we can split between us. It is appreciated, but you are the first person
thank you, Jill,
who's ever given me money without it being a crime scene on YouTube. So that's amazing. So thank you so much indeed for that. That's really appreciated. That is nice. First super chat.
It's very nice.
It comes up in big blue letters on Restream super chat. Wow.
Lovely. Yeah.
All right.
And also, her second comment hasn't come up yet to say that's to pay for you to stop, but no, it's not that.
Oh no. Okay. Oh, I see. That's that got lost. That got lost. I think I deleted that. Okay. So anyway. And we are going to stay on tonight until that super chat bucket reaches $2 million. So we're going to be here for a while, ladies and gentlemen, but that's okay. We keep them all coming. All joking aside. Now Jill has made another comment, I think. That's true. We can't say you never gave us anything. That's wonderful. So thank you so much. And yeah, thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. On that bombshell, it's been a great show. Thank you so much for everybody that has joined us tonight. It's been wonderful. Oh, Saeed, one last comment from Saeed. Saeed says, you can ask AI how to split $1 evenly between two currencies. Three currencies. It's three currencies.
Three currencies, yeah.
So I'm in euros. We've got dollar at the top, and right at the top, we've got the pound. If it's still a thing. So I'm just kidding. Who knows anymore?
Ask AI.
Ask AI. Ask AI about fiat currency. Let's not go there.
It's
All right.
It's all Bitcoin.
It's all Bitcoin. There's only one currency. It's all Bitcoin. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. Keep your eyes posted on Substack for updates of when we'll be back live. Also, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll see a notification on there. And if you're not subscribed, why not? You know it's the right thing to do because you will get notified. Hit that bell and all those things that the YouTubers say these days. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's been a great show. Thank you so much for joining us. Lisa, any parting words from you?
Go create. Don't I say that every week? Go create.
No, but it could be a new slogan. There you go.
And have fun. Go create and have fun.
That's the main thing. Have some fun with it. Yeah. And Mark?
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. And you've got my PayPal for that third of the $1.
Yeah, I will be. It'll probably be eaten up in the transaction fees.
Anyway, so
and thank you, Katie. Yes, we will have a wonderful break. We'll be back. And take care of yourselves. See everybody soon. Thanks for joining. See you soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.